Hi friends, welcome to Aishu's DIY. Today we will design a necklace using bargain bead box. We got this shell pearls from bargain bead box, and I have strung in a 19 strand bead stringing wire bead along 0.018 inch, and I am separating it with lavano seed beads. These are check glass seed beads that I have in my stash. I separated it with it, and when I measured this is only 7.5 inch, so which was not enough for the necklace, and I want to use the clasp that we got too. One thing I didn't like about is the clasp is a lighter version of the gold color and the chain is a darker version of the gold color. It's a little bit brighter, so I don't know how it looks. In an ideal situation, what I would prefer to do is use a different color chain that matches this toggle clasp, or use a toggle which is matching the chain. But in this case, this is what we have in the box. I want to work within the box, so I'm using this. So here we go. We have about, say, 8.5 inch. That should be good enough. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take a bead stopper maybe, and then hold it here. Okay, and then push all these beads, and I'm gonna give it a cut. Over here, just leaving a little bit, about say an inch or so, and then that's all the wire that we need. And then we need crimp bead or crimp tube, whichever you have in your stash would work. Okay, now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take my crimp tube, okay, take the toggle. I'm gonna add the toggle to the wire and back through the crimp tube. The wire will not go through the shell bead. The shell pearls are like having small holes, so it won't go inside. So just come through the crimp bead alone, then pull that thing down. Okay, so make sure it's not crisscrossed inside the bead, and you can go ahead and crimp that. I'm flat crimping it down. Then snip off the excess, cut it as close to the bead as possible. So now that's smooth. So this is what we have here, and this strand I'm going to connect to the chain. Whatever I have chain left over from the box, I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna take 2 lengths, and let me see if I can do 4, which is a little bit short. So I'm going to do 3 strands. Okay, about say right. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is take a jump ring, thicker gauge is a good option here because it will have more stability than thinner gauge. There was a jump ring actually that came with this chain. Let me see if I have that available. Yes, I do, but I would prefer a thicker gauge, so I'm going to use this only. So here we go. Open this up. Okay, And then what I'm going to do is add the chain. There we go. And then gonna approximately do this. So I'm gonna just measure. I'm gonna keep this in the lengthwise. I'm gonna measure the exact distance because we don't want it to become very big, right? So here we go. So over here, let me just cut this chain here. That way it will be easier for me to do it. This point, cut it, and then add the next end of the chain here. I'm aiming for the same same distance as this side of the necklace. So we want both the sides an equidistance, about the same, I would say. It's a small chain, so it's a little bit difficult to get the thicker gauge jumping to it, which is a good deal of security if you think about it that way. I'm just going to keep this down, and then again come back here and cut the chain. Say, make sure that it's even length because we need all 3 chains in the same length. Okay, now add the 3rd chain into here as well. Okay, I'm gonna close and then cut this excess in the 3rd chain. Okay, bring everything down. Okay, there is a little bit of this chain is a little bit short, so I'm cutting it off. Okay, now that I have that, I'm gonna add one more jump ring in the back. So that also I would prefer to add the thicker gauge. If not a jump ring, an S hook would work. Let me tell you guys about that. I have here, I think I do have some S hooks in my stash already made, but I'll show you guys how to make that. It's pretty simple if you have the necessary materials. Okay, so I have this 18 gauge wire. All you need to do is open it up, take your nylon jaw pliers and straighten it out a little bit. Cut the tip of the wire if it is not flush with your flush cutters. So this part is in a V shape and this is the flat. So now it's flat. This point of time, take your, you can also take, you know what, the looping pliers or the step loopers. So this one, that way you will have both the sides in the same size. So I'm going to use, you can use whichever size you want in this mandrel, but I'm going to use the smallest one. You keep it in between the mandrel. You should not feel anything here. Okay, so you just take it and roll until it meets and it forms a P like that. Now what you do is you take this, okay, and you keep the mandrel right next to that loop right there. Okay, and then bring it around, say like that. So that's an 8, right? Figure 8. So now you take your wire and cut it at that point using your flush side. Okay, exactly where it intersects. There we go. So this is a figure 8 one. Then what you can do is you can just take it and hammer it down so that it's nice and strong. But I feel that it is nice and strong already. So figure 8. And now what you can do is you can open up the bigger loop a little bit and then add all these chains to it. It will be a little bit tough in the sense that these chains have a very small hole, just like how it is a little tough with the jump ring. The same here, but you can get it through. It's an 18 gauge wire, but still you can get it through. The best way is to poke. There we go. Bring everything down and see if it is nice and neat and it is not, intertwined or something, which it is. So I'll take 2 off and see which one is next. There we go. And then let's just add it. You can also add it to thinner jump ring, or you can use 20 gauge wire to do this, but I don't feel safe with that, so I just use the 18 gauge itself. There we go. And then close this like how you would close a jump ring. Okay, now we have the chain part done. Now open up, you don't have to open up the other side. Come back in the front. Then we are going to open up this jump ring and add the clasp. One end of the toggle. Close the jump ring nice and shut, and this one comes like this through our toggle. The bar comes like this. Okay, now you have this. I want to know how it sits, right? So this part, the back part, we have these. Pick up a crimp tube. The crimp tube is the same color as the gold one, so it'll be a little confusing, but that's okay. We can figure it out. So put this through this loop, the other end which doesn't have the chain, and come back through the crimp tube. You can, I have used 19 strand bead on bead stringing wire, but you can use the 41 strand bead on bead stringing wire. Even the 7 strand would do. Even like you have multiple options, right? You can use soft flex 21 strands as well. So when you make the loop, go ahead and crimp it shut. Take your wire cutters and then snip it off right next to the crimp bead. Making sure. There we go. So it's pretty much done, our necklace. Just one more thing to add. See this, I want this down here, okay? So we are going to clasp in the front. I still have one pearl left that I saved for the dangle. I'm gonna take a ball head pin and then okay, take my round nose pliers, hold it right there, bend it at 90 degrees. I want rather a bigger loop, not a small one, so just pushing the mandrel up right here and then making sure the loop is big, not small. Okay, just a bigger loop, and then I'm going to add it to this not the bar part, the other part of the toggle. Okay, this part. So I'm going to add it here. You can also add it to the jump ring and then add it, but I think this should do good. This should be fine. Hold it over there, bring it a slightly upward direction, and then if you wrap it, it'll come out perfectly, the wraps. You can use your bent nose pliers or chain nose or needle nose plier, whichever you have available, to help you with it. Once you're done, go ahead and snip this excess wire with your wire cutters, and there is a short tail that you need to tuck it in just like that. Now our necklace is done and ready. So this is how you wear the necklace. I know there's a lot of dirty things from our, I always keep a small trash can, which is this, and I carry all the tidbits here because it's good always to have those in hand so that you don't poke yourself, otherwise it'll go down and hit you at the wrong time. So this is our necklace. Let me see how it goes nicely. There we go. So this is how it looks, and I really like the way it turned out to be. I hope you guys like it too. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification. I do upload videos couple of times a week. I still have this strand to work, and the bargain bead box, I'll come up with something in the next video. Have a good day. Bye bye.